Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patrick Hawe. I'm an associated member of T3 Trading Group, which is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. All trades are placed through T3 Trading Group, the trades that I do anyway. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. Please read this disclosure. Thank you. Still the same positions from yesterday, including AMD, which is going to report very shortly. So hopefully it goes well. But if it doesn't, I'm ready for that too. So yeah, that's going to come out in a minute here. We got Google and Snap out. Google down off its earnings. They missed a few numbers. They missed their revenue number. They missed their cloud number, which is hitting Amazon down. Microsoft down a little bit off that too. Looks like Snapchat up though. I guess miracles do happen. Snap looks like they are guiding decently. Nothing crazy, but not terrible, which is enough to send it up. So that's good for them. Obviously, Google matters a lot more. I remember back in the days when like Snap used to move Google sometimes, although they're reporting the same day, but Snap used to move some of these others. Not so much anymore. Not as important. But yeah, Google down, Snap up, AMD hitting in 2 minutes or so. So I'm just gonna kind of see what happens with that, and then we'll do a quick recap. But I definitely want to be ready for these AMD earnings. Let's see what these other numbers look like. Snap. So yeah, they beat their guidance, beat their revenue, beat their EPS. All those Snap numbers are pretty good. Adjusted EBITDA isn't great. But otherwise, all those Snap numbers are actually decent. That could be a good one to trade tomorrow. We'll see where they open it. Looks like 13 is a very big level for Snap. Snap's been rejected off 13 since last October, November, like 4, 5, 6 times or so. So 13 a big level for Snap. Google 190 support. That's holding for now. We'll see if they buy that back up though. AMD shortly here. If this trades up to 130, I'll be out of it. If it trades under 110, I'll be slowly buying some more. If it trades down to 100, I'll be kind of sad and possibly taking a loss. I don't know. We'll see. Still think downside's a little bit limited in that name though at this point. But let's see what happens. Should be coming out any second. If not, I'll start recapping and just pay attention. But it's supposed to be out at 4:15. I guess these CEOs just report whenever they want these days. Yeah, I'm listening to these numbers now. They sound pretty decent. One of their spending numbers was a little bit higher. So far, so good. Not hitting my targets yet, but we'll see. Come back down a little now. Avgo, Google CapEx, yeah, that was a crazy. That was the one number that really stood out. It's a huge beat on the alphabet. Sees CapEx 2025 about 75 billion, estimated 58. It's a really big beat there. Well, AMD was pricing 10. It moved up a lot today, though, so maybe this is about what we get for that for now. But I'll take it, not complaining. Yeah, that's where my offer is, mid 129s. Get out of it. 126 is its 50 day on the daily chart, too. It's about where it paused. Right at this 126 here. We'll see. So far, not bad though. Google, could be better. It's a nice move for Avgo. And then Snap trading well. Snap 13 gonna be a level to watch for tomorrow. Looks like it did trade over 13 briefly. Back under it for now. Anyway, yeah, let's do a quick little recap here. I'll still keep an eye on AMD out of the corner of my eye. See how that call goes too. Kind of a muted reaction there. Numbers weren't blowout though, just weren't bad per se either. See it come back down now. Nothing really for me to trade at this moment though. Yeah, so anyway, kind of a quieter, little bit of a slower day today, but a bullish day nonetheless. As now I see the same D. I gotta not get too distracted by that. Yeah, exactly, Bill. We'll see how they trade it tomorrow, though. I'd like to see them trade it up tomorrow. I don't think it warrants another big down move on that. Definitely wasn't a bad report per se, but we'll see. Interesting. Nothing on IBIT on that. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, coming into today, it was a flat open pretty much across the board. I think Qs were gapping up a little bit. IWM was gapping down a little bit. Kind of a tricky spot where we were opening just right into some of our moving averages here. Potential resistance, which we more or less pushed through. Still, though, we traded up intraday. SPY up 0.5%. Qs up 1%. Maybe a little down after hours on Google. And then IWM up a nice 1.4, 1.5% here. So bullish day two across the board on tariff pause hopes is basically what I'm calling it. Move from yesterday. Still sticking with that bid today, as we're hopeful that Trump's playing nice for now. Anyway, nothing too new today. They were supposed to have a call with President Xi for the China stuff. That call ended up not happening. Not that it's not going to happen, it just didn't happen today. So that was one of the main headlines that we saw. And the other one was just a little bit of crypto news saying that they're potentially still looking at studying the crypto reserve for that, sovereign wealth fund or whatever they're calling it. So a little bit of movement there. Overall, Bitcoin just an inside day though, but for the most part, kind of a quieter, strong day. Most of the strength taking place in the morning though. Opened up again pretty much flat across the board. As you can see, intraday here, Qs, SPY, all moved higher in the morning, and then for the most part, just kind of got stuck sideways for the rest of the day. IWM was the one that was a little bit better throughout the day, just having an intraday trend. But still, nothing too crazy there. Just kind of a steady stair step up. And we also had the VIX bleeding out a bit today. UVIXY did find a floor around halfway today or so, and then kind of just stuck sideways there, but that helped keep our bid. I do think that, again, the VIX is going to have a bit of a higher floor than we've seen in the past year or so, with just the uncertainty with, again, new headlines pretty much every day. And hopefully eventually that calms down, but I don't think it will over the next couple months or so. We'll see. But that helped us keep our bid today. And we had data come out this morning as well. Jolt's job openings was a little bit of a miss. That actually helped boost us up a bit. And it was interesting to see the TLT, it was right at 10 o'clock, also got a bit of a boost on that number. Interest rates pushing down a little bit, bonds pushing up a little bit off that. You don't want these interest rates to just keep flying higher. And that makes sense if, economic numbers just aren't super, super hot. People are worried about inflation and everything like that. So kind of a bad news is good news scenario there. Jolts isn't too market moving always, but that's basically what we're seeing there. We have more data this week coming out. Tomorrow we have ADP non-farm employment change before the open. And then we have ISM services PMI at 10 a.m. tomorrow, midday. I think that's the main number of the week. Thursday, typical average on Friday. Oh no, the jobs number on Friday, right? Is this first Friday of February? Yeah, so January jobs number on Friday is our main number this week. And then a week full of earnings too. Again, AMD, Google, Snap today. Tomorrow morning we have Uber, Walt Disney. Thursday is Amazon. And then we'll be through most, if not all, of our big cap tech earnings besides NVIDIA, which is always a later report. I don't think they report till second half or even like the end of February. I want to say it's like 221, something like that for NVIDIA. But, overall, pretty good day. Again, nice and bullish. Strong closes across the board. Just a recap of some of the names we were looking at this morning. It is earnings season, so there's always plenty of earnings names to look at. Palantir, the big winner of the day, for sure. Up 20, what did this finish? Up 23%, very impressive. And rightfully so. Palantir crushed their earnings yesterday. Where did what close? Palantir closed like 103.80 technically. 103.83 for Palantir's close. Solid, very solid. Great report. Some of us were trying to short it. Kind of hard to buy that momentum, even though it did move higher initially, and then kind of just rolled over and got stuck sideways a bit. But that was basically what most of these names did throughout the day. Just kind of get stuck sideways after that morning, first hour or two there. But Palantir, the big winner of the day, was looking for over 110 for an extreme short. Didn't really get to that 110. This is probably going to be stuck sideways for, I think, a couple days or so. Maybe similar but different to like what this IBM did. Actually, I guess this only took a day or so, but IBM inside day, and then an inside day and up follow through. But Palantir probably, I would think, is stuck up here as it digests this gap. Whether it gets under 100 a little bit, whether it just kind of chops over 100, we'll see. But usually these take like a few days to, have the funds move around and everything before we get real follow through on either direction. Other than that, what else is on our list? Pfizer. Pfizer tried to be okay, and then I guess RFK Jr. officially got approved by the Senate. So that hit these names down. That did not help Pfizer. You saw other names like Moderna move lower on that name as well. Those vaccine names, stuff like that, right here when that news came out. But Pfizer, the numbers were okay, just other news kind of hit it down there, which did not help it out. Another bio name that we were looking at, Regeneron, actually did trade well. I did not end up trading this, and this is definitely not an easy name to trade, but I remember the numbers looking okay in this thing, and it was just down so much on its daily chart. It was kind of a similar process or thought process to what I was having with this AMD here. Just, how much lower can this go? Obviously, it can go a lot lower, but the sentiment's so poor there that maybe there's a chance that even on okay numbers it can trade up intraday. I'll be looking for the same thing for AMD tomorrow. But Regeneron, we were looking through like 675, 680. That trade ended up paying pretty decently. Again, not sure if anyone took it though. Just it's expensive name, hard to trade for sure. PayPal reported earnings, 80 to 78 supports. Pretty ugly there, pretty ugly. And the PayPal numbers I didn't think looked that bad. Maybe I need to take a look back and reevaluate those. I didn't think the numbers were too bad though. It had a big run into the report, but this thing traded pretty poorly today, closing down on lows as well. Tried to hold 80 for a bit, but obviously ended up failing through. That 5-minute 80 May caught up, and that was pretty much it for that. So that one not great. MPC crushed numbers. I thought they had a really good report. We were looking at 148 and 150. Both those levels traded pretty well. So good day there. What else were we looking at? NVIDIA. We pointed out a 117.50 seller from the past couple days and in the pre-market today as well. 117.50 here. You can see yesterday, even 117.50 resistance. Tried to get above it, couldn't stay above it. Pre-market today, tried to get above, couldn't stay above. But then after the open, cleared that with authority. NVIDIA still, and that was still downside extended too, so that kind of helped with the long trade in that. Not sure if anyone caught that, but that traded well. And then one of our main focuses was the quantum names, with Bill Gates, I guess, saying that quantum may be relevant within the next 3 to 5 years, which obviously isn't anytime soon, but still enough to wake these names up. And all these daily charts look fairly similar with these sideways charts that probably should have broken down by now, but they haven't. So RGTI, we're looking at like 14-ish and then 15, another level here. So traded through 14, worked well. 15 ended up failing. Not the best close, but wouldn't quite say this is a total failure yet either. This has to lose these daily lows to be a total failure. So maybe RGTI 15 tomorrow. If that can trigger, if anyone still, that seller's at 15 or people are shorting off 15, if it tries to get through that again, that could be worth a look. And IONQ was the other good one. Similar but different, just different levels. Same chart look though. 44 is that level for IONQ. So traded up through like 41, 42, failed 44, but again, not a total failure all the way back down. Another one just, potentially have an alert there. If it doesn't trigger, no harm, no foul. But this tries to go through 44 again. If RGTI tries to go through 15 again, probably worth a look for potential momentum there. So the quantum names, again, brought some excitement. For the most part, only this morning. And then by like 11 or so, they were starting to roll over. And we're just kind of dead for the rest of the day. So, yeah, overall, decent day. Not quite as exciting as yesterday, but definitely not a terrible day either. For the most part, calmly bullish, which is a good thing. You never know what headlines might come out overnight with Trump and everything. You never know what he's going to say tomorrow, which is why we always need to be prepared, especially over the next month or two. Both ways, two-way trading for sure. Spent a lot of time talking about that yesterday. This VIX should have a little bit of a higher floor at least, just given that, markets don't like uncertainty and things are certainly uncertain right now. If Trump gets a little bit annoyed, he could, turn around and pump those tariffs back up. So we'll see with that. But overall, decent day. Thought there was some stuff to do, not a ton per se. And again, by noon or so, it was pretty much dead for the most part. But thought we still found some okay opportunities. So hopefully everyone did okay with that. And yeah, I think that's all I really got. Again, more data tomorrow coming out, and then Friday's the big day today. Bunch of earnings tonight, bunch of earnings tomorrow morning. Thursday, you got Amazon earnings, so still plenty more to get through this week. But it's been a decent week so far. I mean, it's only Tuesday, but two pretty bullish days, which I don't think anyone expected coming into the open on Monday morning. But that's just what this market's like and how it's going to be going forward. So, yeah, we'll see. And yeah, I think that's all I got. So happy to take any questions or anything. Again, I should be done by like 4:45 or so. Let's go ahead. Other reports and stuff that I have to complete by 5 p.m. So anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to ask now. I'll pull up the YouTube for a second while people think of questions. All right, in the VTF, I see Eddie asking about EA, which I did not look at those numbers yet. I forget why this got hit down so hard. I thought I saw some net booking speed. Interesting. Yeah, those numbers don't look too great. Went down to 120. Right. Reported prelim. Okay. Now it's out of the way. Usually they do that to try to soften the blow, and these numbers don't look too great, but I see that it's not trading down on that either. So that's a good thing. Tomorrow, I don't want to say I'd expect it to trade up, but I do think you have a better chance of it trading up tomorrow based on one, that it already prelim reported, and two, now that it's reported and the numbers don't look fantastic, but it's not trading down. I think it's a good sign for you as well. I'd watch this 123 level for sure. 123 looks like there's a seller there today. Yesterday, bit of an inflection point a couple days ago, 124 and 125. I mean, this name's a little bit thinner, but yeah, I just watched 123 tomorrow for EA. If this is above and staying above 123, I don't hate the idea of trying to go long it. Do I have a price I'd start rebuying SoFi? I mean, 14's big. I probably should have started rebuying it around 14 or so. Probably under 12, which definitely might not happen. I mean, that's so like me personally, under 12. I also say that because I had it from like 6 or whatever, and took it to 14, so I just don't want to start rebuying it too early. Me personally, under 12, I think you'd be getting back in that value zone, that bigger picture value zone, which is what I was, kind of trying to do with AMD. That's what I did with SoFi. Technically speaking here, this chart is kind of messy in this whole price congestion area, and it doesn't exactly look great below its moving averages here. I'd say under 13. Under 13, probably worth a look for SoFi. Um, yeah, under 13. You definitely could try to start buying it under 14 in the 14 area. I probably won't. That's just me though, but I don't hate that area to start. And then once you get closer to 12 and under 12, that's a lot better for the bigger value picture for SoFi. Going over to the YouTube. What do we think of Palantir Gap? Yeah, I mean, the Palantir Gap is crazy, and it was up a lot, obviously, on their earnings. But it's warranted. It's a growth story. They've been crushing their reports. They've been crushing numbers. Similar but different to Tesla's big run years ago. Similar but different to NVIDIA's big run. It's a growth story that crushes numbers again and again and again. That will stop at some point, but you don't want to be calling that too early for obvious reasons here. So the gap is euphoric, and that's why I was saying earlier, I think it gets stuck sideways for a little bit, whether it's a couple days or maybe even a couple weeks. But there's no reason for Palantir, based on the earnings, based on its story, based on its growth, its numbers, there's no reason for this to just like die down lower. That doesn't make sense. The valuation can be crazy up here. It probably is, but this isn't some quantum name that doesn't do quantum, right? This is, a real company with real numbers. So the gap's crazy. I'd be careful just like shorting or buying puts. Shorting one thing, maybe if you're trading around a core. Buying puts, I'd be a little bit careful with that. Because again, I do think it's more likely to get stuck sideways than just trade straight down and fill this gap. That's what happens with these, real names with real numbers. And that's what we're seeing with Palantir. It's just kind of the latest one. Bill K, shout out to Bill K in the VTF room, was one of the first to say Palantir is the new Tesla, and I totally was agreeing with him, and so far that's been the case. I mean, they crushed their numbers again, up a lot. It's a huge gap. It probably should spend some time digesting this. But overall, I don't think like this is so crazy and this needs to dive back down to 40 or anything like that. Maybe over time, maybe their next earnings report, same Bill. Maybe their next earnings report, they miss their numbers and that crushes it or something like that. But overall, I think it's just going to be stuck for a little bit, maybe on like, sideways for a couple days, and then you get a big run again and it starts to extend. You can look at that. Technically, I guess the right thing to do would be to let it go sideways and then try to buy the breakout on it, since it's in an uptrend, and it's in an uptrend for a reason. Again, they've been crushing numbers, so yeah, it's a euphoric gap, but I don't think it's unwarranted either. So Palantir, probably give it a few days or so. And then, see if it can break out. Personally, I did not trade Palantir today. I was looking for an extreme short if it went over 110, especially in the first hour or so. We didn't quite get that, though. So I didn't end up doing anything with it today, for better or for worse. Thoughts on hymns? Wow. this is getting extreme. Day 4 up. Thanks for bringing this to my attention. Maybe we should short this tomorrow. Yeah, Hims, I mean, obviously very strong, but day 4 up, extreme extension. I like the idea of potentially shorting Hims either back through today's high, if it's gapping a little bit above today's high and then trades back down through it. I like that idea. Or if it's either around either 44 to 45 or over 47. So a little gap up, short down through yesterday's high, gets into the 44 to 45 zone and seems to be struggling. That could be worth a shot. Or if it's like over 47 tomorrow, probably just pure crazy extension short. But Hims very strong, getting a little extreme though there. Day 4 up, very extended, strong name, but that thing is due for a pause soon. And by soon, I mean either tomorrow or the next day after that. That's Hims. Avgo is up on Google's CapEx number. They had a huge beat on their CapEx number. At least that's what we're thinking is the news there. Google, what was that number again? Because it was a crazy beat. Where is it? Yeah, Alphabet sees 2025 CapEx about 75 billion, estimated 58 billion. It's a really big beat on CapEx. So Avgo, just kind of sympathy with that number. AMD down. Not great. What do I think of Tesla charts? Regarding the tariffs, I read China saying they're looking in to hit them on any concern there. It looks to be going back. I mean, right now, the sentiment, sympathy, whatever you want to call it, is bullish and hopeful on the tariffs. Again, that can change any day. That wasn't the case coming into the open on Monday. And after that 10 a.m. news on Monday, we flipped like that on a dime, which can happen in this market. Someone asked me about Tesla, I think it was Robert yesterday, and I said it was looked like a false 380 breakdown. 380 support. It tried to break it lower yesterday. It tailed back up and closed above 380. So, false move can tend to lead to fast moves in the other direction. Not necessarily a fast move higher in Tesla today, but I think Tesla 380 is a pretty big support level. It failed to break it down yesterday. It's not breaking out either. 420 is its breakout level. So you got a 40-point range in Tesla. 420 on the upside, 380 on the downside, 400, a nice psychological midpoint level. But I'd be careful just, buying over 400, shorting under 400. You might get chopped up with that. The chart looks okay. It doesn't look good. It's not uptrending. It did, again, falsely break down. So right now, would I rather be long or short Tesla? I think I'd rather be long, but I would definitely not fight that if it went back to 380 and under 380. And if anything, a break of 380 is a flip back short. So that's Tesla. It's holding support still, but definitely have an alert for that 380 for a potential short there. Hims 40K on the bid. Oh, yeah, that is true. You got a nice bid in Hims. Maybe someone's stuck short this. I like that idea for a cute short. This thing should pause either tomorrow or the next day. I think Hims pauses. Scholasticity interesting name. YouTube comments on Palantir's business obviously being different than Tesla and Nvidia. You are completely right, and I completely agree with you. It's more just like how the market trades. The market and traders in the market and option sweepers and gamma squeezers and all those cool guys. The market trades just kind of like what's in, what's cool, what the main theme is, AI, quantum, everything like that. And Nvidia, the Tesla, that was the case a few years ago, still is the case, but that's died down a bit. Nvidia, that was the case last year, the year before, still is the case, but that's died down a bit. I think Palantir is just the most recent kind of hot name where, while the growth and trajectory isn't the same, I totally agree with you. Markets can just be, I don't want to say dumb, because the market's not dumb and the market's never wrong. You are. And by you, I just mean when, people try to call valuations and everything. But for now, it's the hot name. The trend hasn't really broken. It tried to break back here, but then it V-bottomed back up. That's technically super bullish going into those earnings. And then the earnings came out, the numbers were good. So it's just a hot name. It'll eventually cool off, whether it takes a mediocre earnings report to do that, or whether just something else starts to get really hot and people start to focus on that instead. It will cool off at some point, but that's just kind of how things trade, especially these days with, all the sweeps and the zero DTEs and everything like that. Palantir is just kind of like the hot name, and it's been the hot name over the past few quarters now. So I totally agree with you. But the market's, I guess, smarter than I am. So yeah, we'll see, but I do think Palantir kind of gets stuck. I don't think Palantir is just going to have another huge couple up days here. It should get stuck for a little bit. All right, 4:49 here. Anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I probably should jump. I got a couple other things to take care of. Thanks for pointing out. Is that YouTube? Yeah, thanks for pointing out hymns, Jake. Definitely something I'll watch tomorrow for sure. That's short. I see AMD. Yeah, we'll see how AMD call goes tonight, and we'll see how it trades tomorrow too. I will be, unless the call is horrible, I'll be surprised to see AMD under 105 tomorrow. I'll be like, wow, that's, something's wrong if AMD is under 105 tomorrow, I think. So we'll see. Again, similar to like this Regeneron, similar but different, obviously completely different name in space, but just down so much into it. It was an okay earnings report, but this thing traded well today. I'm kind of looking for the same thing tomorrow for AMD. Didn't buy any back yet. Not going to buy any back till under 110. So I have a little bit still, which obviously now I'm down on a little bit, but that's okay. That's part of the plan. Cool. All right, looks like I am through all the questions and everything. So, yeah, Uber earnings tomorrow morning, Disney earnings tomorrow morning, and some data after the open as well. And we'll see whatever headlines come out tonight. You never know. But for now, have a good night, everyone. See you all tomorrow morning.